Hello, and welcome to the Duke and Dutch Show. We have finally returned to our normal format. Good old Dutch back in PA.
I am back from
Welcome to,
Florida. Yep.
yeah, hu- leaving humidity, coming back to humidity. I am sure it is just as humid by you as it is by me. It is a 84-degree humid and rainy day by me. How about yourself?
Oh, well, I don't know, man. It's actually a lot better down here. Listen, Florida's very nice. I had a good time and all that. I got to see family and all that. But I, dude, I don't know how people live down there. It's like I understand why you crank the AC and you just kind of hide in your house from like 10 o'clock to around like 8 at night. It's a hot state. It really is, and the humidity does not help. Happy to be back. It's been a little rainy here, but no, flight was good. No problems with that. And yeah, we're back to our regular format.
Yeah, little is an understatement. I feel like it's been raining for 4 days straight here.
That's what I heard.
But
Yeah,
well, it is what it is.
it did rain all of yesterday. So,
So what topics we got today, Dutch?
well, we got kind of we have the serious and the silly. Obviously, I think the biggest topic probably of the month is going to be this war with Iran and Israel and how they're launching bombs at each other and yada yada yada, and how I'm really hoping that Trump doesn't push us in to a World War III type of conflict. But Israel is our greatest ally, and I don't know.
Yada yada yada.
Other than that, we got a little bit of an update with the LA protests. More so, just a very interesting from Arnold Schwarzenegger, who obviously was the governor of California, Republican governor of California, actually, at one point, and is an immigrant himself. Before he was obviously, a huge movie star, he did immigrate here. We have a little bit of a thing between Sophie Rain and Bonnie Blue getting kicked off of OnlyFans because 1,000 dicks is okay, but apparently 2,000 dicks is it's too many.
It's too much. Yeah.
That's too much debauchery even for OnlyFans, which is wild. And past that, I got a little bit of an update with Meghan Markle. Duke says it might just be my timeline that's flooded with Meghan Markle crap all the time, but it's just I don't like Meghan Markle. I don't think a lot of people like Meghan Markle, and she hasn't really done anything. She's just very irritating. We're going to talk about that. But the first thing we're going to get into, obviously, is Israel and Iran. Obviously, I think we touched on this last week, right?
Yes, of course. Yep.
So,
It's a big topic currently in the news world.
yeah. So, I found my meme here, which I was talking to you about. I don't want to die for Israel. Who the fuck said that? Which is,
Pretty much that.
it'd be humorous if it wasn't so true. But, now there's obviously, I guess there are two sides of this, obviously. And I think I said this on the last pod, or the last thing we talked about. I don't have the problem with the state of Israel. I am very critical of the Israeli government, as I think you should be critical of all governments. I am critical of our government. I'm Trump. He does some good things. He does some bad things. But this is from the Israeli side. So we're going to get into this.
Images of hundreds of cars in a gridlock, Iranians trying to escape from Tehran, as the war between Israel and Iran enters its fifth day. Meanwhile, despite
there should be a disclaimer warning on here. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
It's just this
Graphic
is
footage.
I don't think it's going to show anything like super graphic, but yeah, it's like, obviously there's a lot of devastation and destruction. And we did talk about the Iron Dome a little bit. The Iron Dome is not a 100% effective thing. We do know this. So bombs will be dropping in Israel because of their preemptive defense, which is really just offense. But I'll let this go.
Missiles raining down on civilians in Israel, nearly 200,000 Israelis are doing the opposite, trying to get back home. With the airspace shut for nearly a week, citizens are desperately trying to return to their families in Israel.
We just want to get home. We want everyone to get home. We feel a lot of guilt. Obviously, there's the relief that we're not there, but the guilt that all of our friends and family and loved ones.
At least they did shut down the airport. I mean
that's a smart move.
Yeah, that's a smart move,
especially with what's
happening.
Going through this, this horrible. I mean, I've lived in Israel 11 years. I've never seen anything like this. I don't think anyone has.
Aurelia and her partner flew to France for a wedding, but are now flying to the US to stay with her family until there's an option to fly back.
There are people who need to get back more urgently than we do, people who are separated from.
And I'm going to say, too, this does show resilience because it's like, I don't know if I'd be flying back into an active war zone.
Yeah, honestly, this is not a situation I would want to be flying into. I would definitely look at other alternatives, like flying to visit family, go on vacation.
Well, that's what
Yeah, for a little bit.
that's what she said she's doing. She went to
I think it's
France
a smart move.
and
Yeah,
she's going
absolutely.
to America. But yeah, it's got to be I mean, it's got to be weird as a citizen. It's like, you leave and you're like, hey, I'll be back. And then you're like, oh, I guess not, because we decided to preemptive defense somebody. And now, I mean, you don't even know if your home's going to be there when you get back. It's like,
you can't necessarily predict this stuff is going to happen, but at the same time, there is a reason why you should check the weather before you travel. There's a reason why you should check the news before you travel, all that stuff. And especially if you happen to live in a territory where there is some hostility between countries, you might want to plan ahead. Maybe you shouldn't have gone to that wedding if you really didn't want to not be able to come back to Israel. But realistically, like I said, it's kind of a blessing in disguise, if you ask me, that you're not able to go back to Israel during the bombings. I wouldn't want to have to avoid bombs while I'm living in Israel.
I think what I would say, how would they know, though? It's like, Israel has been obviously fighting this fight for, since at least 1948, when they wanted to reestablish the state of Israel after, obviously, the World War II, Holocaust, all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. So how would you even know if I am going to leave and all of a sudden, no, you can't.
Yeah, it's not like the weather. You can only predict so much,
From their children, from their spouses. And so we decided, we're in a position where we have a place to stay. We have flexible jobs that are understanding, and we have things sorted out.
I guess they kind of have to be.
I
don't think they have a choice.
Being Israel.
But they're hoping to return as soon as possible.
My partner's family they live in Ramat Gan, and they don't have a miklat, they don't have a mamad. They've been staying in the train station, actually. And it's been really hard being away. It kind of is mixed feelings.
Jonathan is also stuck abroad in Europe, trying to make the best of what now is a forced extended vacation.
It's not like a normal vacation I've ever had. Every day we constantly text our friends, our families, trying to check if everything's okay. Every time we see an alert, constantly connected to the news. You can't really change into a vacation mindset while you are here.
Well, I don't think you can. It's got to be a weird thing, too. Especially for me, because I just came back from, I was in Florida for a week, and I just got back, and it's like, I never had the thought in my mind that I was like, well, maybe I won't be able to go back home. That never, that never happened. I was never like, no. I was like, no, I'll just go back home at the end of the week when I'm supposed to, yada, yada.
Yeah, thankfully you weren't in that position, but yes, I'm sure thousands of people are kind of scrambling for
It's got to be a weird feeling. It really does.
Yeah.
I like I said, I do feel for the people who live in Israel, the state of Israel, and not the government. I don't like the government, but the people who live there, obviously. So
the woman in charge
if we could,
of
can we
bringing
speed
back
up speed up the voice?
sure. Let me see here. What do you want? 1.25, 1.5?
Yeah, 1.25 is fine.
Let's try that. Yeah. Did that correct? Oh, I went to 1.5. No.
stranded Israelis sees it differently.
There is no need to panic. You are abroad. Enjoy yourselves.
There was a joke running that Minister Regev should change her name to Miriam Antoinette. We can't really enjoy outside. Most people are really worried. And
that's a hard ask.
Back home, and
that really is
not something that can last forever.
I was pretty shocked. I was actually very angry. It was a bit insensitive, especially because a lot of us have been under insane stress.
The minister did say that the country is preparing to start operating special flights in coordination with the Defense Ministry to bring the more than 100,000 stranded Israelis home. The hope is to see 2 flights incoming every hour during the day.
I actually just know 100,000 Israelis stuck abroad. Wow, that's a lot of people, actually. That's more than I would think.
If you really think about it, how America is huge. How many Americans right now are not where they live? I probably millions, honestly. If you really think about
millions,
it.
I'm sure. But
how many people are traveling on business right now, vacations, all that?
But we have 300. America has about 350 million legal residents, and then we probably have another 20 million illegal residents. So. I don't know. Maybe a million, maybe 2 million.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
don't know. I don't know the statistics.
Israel has a lot of travel with their citizens.
I guess it would
that's
make
just a
sense. Yeah.
normal
If you
practice. I mean,
if you,
it is a smaller country,
yeah.
so I guess travel is just something that's more common over there.
But the sheer amount of people and the security risks complicates the matter.
Yeah, which is
Take into account that this will take time, and the moment we approve the return of a plane to Israel, and we understand even when it is in the air that there is a security problem or a risk to human life, we will turn it around. We will not take a risk by bringing a plane, and God forbid on the ground there will be an incident in which we will have to explain how we allowed a plane to land on the ground with
well, that's true, 100%. Like
more than 300 dead.
There is still no option for anyone wanting to leave Israel by plane, but private initiatives to bring people to Egypt or Jordan by bus are being organized for those wanting to leave.
Which is fair. I mean, I wouldn't expect them to instill fear into anybody in this situation. So of course they're going to tell them, just enjoy your vacation. You know, you don't have to worry about being bombed. Enjoy your safety.
This
realistically, in the grand scheme of things.
This next thing, yeah, I agree with that. This next thing comes from Terrence K. Williams, and if you know anything about Terrence K. Williams, we've covered him. I think we've talked about him. He's a very big, he's a very big influencer. He loves Trump to death. The guy loves Trump, but even he's saying that he doesn't think that we should be involved in this fight, or it's not America's business and whatnot. And
this is one of those topics that has really divided a lot of Trump supporters.
Well, I think it divides MAGA exactly. It's I don't want to see any Americans die in a war. You know, I mean,
it has nothing to do with us.
Well, you know, Israel's our greatest ally. I kind of get standing with your allies, but there's also the problem too of, you know, our ally seems like they're being the aggressor. You know, a preemptive defense, I don't really buy. But Iran is the enemy, but this is not our fight. They chant death to America all the time, but two things can be true at once. This is not our fight. If you're screaming for Trump to send our troops to die in an Israel-Iran war, grab a gun and go fight it yourself. I 100% agree with that. Drag your own kids to the battlefield. This ain't our fight, and we're done bleeding for wars that aren't ours. Being Israel's ally doesn't mean we're their attack dogs and have to fight their battles.
Agreed.
I agree with that 100%. And this is a really big thing. This guy, I mean, like, dude, he loves Trump, like, to death. Like, he really does. He went off on Elon, I think, like, last week or something like that. But he's 100% right. Not our fight. We're going to play a little clip from him here. And, you know, this is obviously, I'm not actually sure what this is. Somewhere in Israel or Iran, possibly. I guess Iran. And obvious, you know, you can't, it's not graphic, you can't see anything, but, you know, something obviously hit.
Some type of explosion bombing.
I think this is really scary. I mean, I think we're going to be on the precipice of World War III. I hope it doesn't escalate to that. And I love Trump's stance.
I hope it doesn't. I
love Trump's stance with, you know, Russia, Ukraine being like, hey, they got to make a deal. They got to make a deal. It's just so weird to me to see him do the exact opposite thing with Israel and be like, hey, we'll back Israel no matter what. We'll go die for Israel. It's not a problem. It's like, dude, I don't know. I don't know where your America first consistency is, but it's like, this is definitely, you know. This is from Patrick Bet David. I don't know if we've covered him on the channel or not, but it's like, this is pretty scary. Is the Iron Dome really failing, or is Israel letting it fail? I don't know. From what I can tell, the Iron Dome, I mean, it does. No, but it catches most missiles that come in. Yeah. But I don't know, can it be overloaded? It probably could be overloaded, I would think.
Every system in the history of men has limitations. I can't expect anything to be, again, fail-proof. It's just not realistic.
I mean,
there's no way if they shoot 500 missiles, we're going to be able to stop 500 missiles. I just don't see that possible.
Well, yeah,
I don't know exact number of missiles.
No, but that's exactly how the Iron Dome works. But I'm saying, could it? Maybe it can be overloaded. Maybe if we're going to launch 1,000 missiles at once, it probably can't catch all the missiles. It's probably not possible. Yeah. It's not a fail-proof system. But this is, I mean, if I was this person, that's terrifying.
That's incredibly close to be.
I would get like, and obviously, well, you can tell here from the foot, they're on a high rise. Get out! I would get out of the fucking building. I don't know, because it could come down and like, I don't know.
Absolutely, you'd be stuck in that whatever, you know, apartment.
And obviously, we can see from this too. There's smoke coming up, so I would imagine that this building was already hit. Yeah.
They were probably filming the destruction from another
Yeah.
missile hit, and then next thing you know, another one comes. Yeah. I mean, that shakes the whole area, everything. I can only imagine the sound
Oh,
during
sorry.
like
I'm going to click on that.
physically witness all that. Yeah, that's a hell of a thing.
Yeah, so, you know, Patrick David, he's going to a little conspiracy theory here. He said, I don't know, maybe it's failing, maybe they're letting it fail. I would think it's not 100%
There's always going to be
effective.
conspiracy theories. I don't necessarily think they're doing it intentionally. Especially they're very proud in their country. They care about their citizens. I think the last thing that they would want is any loss of life, especially to Iran. It's not going to dissuade them. They are already, like we talked about last week. They launched the first missiles. They don't need Iran to unalive anybody or hurt anybody or destroy cities in order for them to attack. They've already attacked.
I would
So
think
it's not like they need a reason or an excuse.
I would think if they didn't want any loss of life, they wouldn't. Like, I don't know about the whole, like, listen, I'm just a stupid guy on the internet. I don't know exactly the whole thing, you know, but you preemptively attack somebody, and now it's coming back on you. It's like, you got the Iron
That's an
Dome.
argument.
It's just,
It's definitely an argument. Like maybe they don't. Yeah, maybe they don't care about their civilian or their citizens. If that's how they're gonna.
I don't think you
handle it.
would. I mean, how could you? I mean, if you're going to preemptively attack somebody, you know they're going to respond. And the only reason I think they're doing it too is because they have America backing them. They know America will come in and be like, "Hey, we're right behind you."
It's like that little friend that picks a fight with a group of guys, knowing that they have their big friend behind them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is obviously Benjamin Netanyahu, and he's going to explain pretty much about how Iran cannot have the nuclear weapons, even though I went over that, you know, the other day with the whole Mossad thing, the whole taking out of JFK, and the whole how JFK didn't want to give them weapons, and then LBJ gave them the nuclear arms and all that.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb.
Wow.
Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year.
Wow.
250 bombs in a decade. Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
If not stopped.
What did that?
So he's been saying this since 1995.
He's been saying the exact same thing since 1995, and they're always about. It reminds me about, you know, we covered Greta Thunberg the other day. It reminds me of that tweet she said in like 2018. She said, "Listen, hey, the world will be destroyed in 5 years." Which, if you go back, they always keep saying the world is going to be destroyed, and it hasn't been yet. So it's like,
it's been 30 years, and Iran never developed nuclear weapons, but yet they felt the urgency to attack them, I guess. Okay.
Well, that's what I mean. It's all a big fucking excuse. I don't.
mean, it's clearly an excuse that he's been using for 30 years.
I don't like Benjamin Netanyahu, and I think.
I wonder why he waited 30 years to attack them.
I don't think he has. I think he probably has.
Does Messiah?
So we got. Oh no, sorry. We got something from Tucker Carlson here. He's talking to Senator Ted Cruz. About Israel's version of the CIA called Mossad spies on us in America, which they do. We know we're bought out by Israel. We know that. It's one of the things. I mean, I like Trump in a lot of ways, but he's an Israel bootlicker. Sorry, I know that's not nice. It might offend, you know, more Republican supporters, but I really do believe that. But see what Tucker has to say here.
God share all of its intelligence with us?
Oh, probably not, but they share a lot. We don't share all of our intelligence with them, but we share a lot. It's a close alliance.
Do they spy domestically in the United States?
Oh, they probably do, and we do as well. And friends and allies spy on each other. And I assume all of our allies spy on us.
That's okay with you?
You know what? One of the things about being a conservative is that you're not naive and utopian. You don't think humans are all... Part of the reason socialism doesn't work is the mantra from each according to his abilities to each according to his needs doesn't...
I think I don't like what Ted... I like Ted Cruz, but I don't like what he's saying here at all. It's like, what do you... Oh yeah, our allies just spy on us, and you know they're just involved in our government. They're making decisions for us. We're gonna go die for them.
Work as a conservative, I assume people act in their rational self-interest.
So it's conservative to pay people to spy on you?
It's conservative to recognize that human beings act in their own self-interest, and every one of our friends spies on us. And I'm not.
Do you like it? That's my question. I'm not asking whether they have motive to do it. Of course they do. I understand that.
Yeah,
and
they do.
and by the way,
I'm not mad
at that. And you're an American lawmaker, so I just want to know. Hold on, I want to know your attitude. You said that your guiding principle, in fact, the only principle, the only criterion.
I said guiding, the overwhelming. I wouldn't say only.
Is it in America's interest? Is it in America's interest for Israel to spy on us, including on the president?
It is in America's interest to be closely allied with Israel because we get huge benefits for it. And you want to see the clear.
But I just want to stop on this point for a second. That it takes
What is
place,
the benefits? I want to know these benefits,
including on the president of the United States and several presidents. And I just want to know if that's okay and why is it okay? Wouldn't an American lawmaker say to a client state, "You're not allowed to spy on us"? I'm sorry. I know why you want to. I'm not mad at you, but you're not allowed to.
Sure.
And I don't care for it. I don't want to be spied on by you. Is that? It's kind of weird not to say that, but you don't seem able to say that.
He's not wrong.
Well, what I think is so interesting is I think Tucker Carlson is a great journalist. Maybe that's controversial. I don't know. And I think Ted Cruz is, a Republican politician. So obviously, the journalist is going to... He had a really interesting thing. They were in Saudi Arabia. He was with Piers Morgan. I remember talking about, World War II, essentially, and he's like, I think Churchill was like the bad guy, and it's like, well, what do you mean Churchill was the bad guy? Of course Churchill wasn't the bad guy, but he's like, well, look at the state of Britain right now. And I was like, well, that's kind of an interesting idea. I'm not gonna, I don't know if I go that far to say Churchill was the bad guy, but I guess if you're gonna say, well, look at, well, if you're gonna say, look at the state of Britain 80 years ago to now, I would say, oh, okay. I mean, I kind of get what you're talking about. It's like, they have unregulated. Oh my God, I can't say that word.
Unregulated.
Unregulated. Why can't I say that? Jeez. Unregulated immigration.
Yeah.
And they're taking the tops off of fucking butter knives, so nobody gets stabbed because they've outlawed all the guns, but now you got to take the tops off the butter knives so nobody can stab anybody. It's like, if you want to beat somebody to death with a chair, you can beat somebody to death with a chair. I'm just saying, you can't bubble wrap the country. It's just.
I mean, catch these hands. You could kill people with your hands if you really wanted to.
And that'll be the next thing, too. They'll be chopping off people's hands. They'll just be like, nope, there's no but then you have stumps. You can beat them to death with your stumps. So, I thought this was interesting. Pentagon official Colonel Nathan McCormick was removed from his position at the Joint Chiefs of Staff for calling Israel a death cult, referring to Netanyahu and his ilk as Judeo-supremacist cronies and asking whether the U.S. is functioning as Israel's proxy. McCormick was serving as the Levant and Egypt branch chief of the Joint Chiefs of Staff's J5 Planning Directorate. Well, I think that's an interesting question. I really do, because I do think we're kind of Israel's lackeys. At least, the government and whatnot.
But what I said to you before we started recording, anybody who works for the government, specifically the military, really has to be careful how they express their opinions. Everyone's allowed to have your opinion, especially in America. That's one of the greatest things we have in this country. But when you're in a position of power, like what this gentleman is, it's not necessarily in his best interest to be expressing his opinion the way that he expressed.
No, I 100% agree with that.
Because he just lost his position.
I 100% agree that no matter, depending on your position, I mean, we saw this, I don't know if we covered it, but with Rachel Ziegler.
It goes even to the president. The president really needs to be careful how he expresses
it works. It really goes every which way. It's like, I think we talked, I don't know if we talked about this because we were really covering the Lilo and Stitch movie, which is actually doing really well. But, before that, the Snow White movie, Rachel Ziegler, and she kind of tanked that movie with her positions and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got to be very careful, when you're in a position like that, what you say, what you do, because, I don't think what this guy said is necessarily wrong, but I do understand.
Is he going to go to jail for any of his statements? No. But can you lose your job because of your statements? Yeah. Just like anyone in any, like we said, it happens regularly, even to regular Joe Schmoes who work at ABC or, whatever. And I don't mean the network company. I mean ABC, like ... any company. It doesn't matter who you work for. If you express certain opinions, they have consequences for your actions. There's consequences for your actions.
So this is coming from the big guy himself, Mr. 4547.
Simple words, very simple, unconditional surrender. That means I've had it. Okay, I've had it. I give up. No more. Then we go blow up all the, all the nuclear stuff that's all over the place. There. Simple words, very.
I don't know how I really feel. Like I said, no, well, it's simple, but
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I'm being sarcastic. It's pretty simple, but it's not that simple. We're
Obviously, we got Benjamin Netanyahu
numerous
here.
loss of lives and countless civilians that are not guilty of anything losing their lives.
Well, let's see. Either Trump is in the clutches of the cabal and his deep state puppets, including its Secret Service, the Israeli Mossad, or Trump has distinctively deceived his own voters and humanity in his willingness for peace. Yeah, I would agree with that. Trump
Peace was a big stance of his, yeah. No wars.
Well, Trump is an anti-war person, and I 100% agree with that. I think we were talking about it yesterday, too. Where I think we kind of got suckered into World War II. I don't know, obviously the geopolitical issues of it, but we knew Pearl Harbor was going to happen. We knew at least 18 hours before. We could have moved our ships out of there. It would have still got bombed. I don't think we could have stopped that.
We could have de-escalated
but
it.
we could have, but that was our thing to get into World War II. And obviously, I think, obviously with the, the Iron Curtain, the whole, spread of communism, yada, yada, yada. I think Korea was something we never should have been involved in. And I think that was really, the whole Korean War was the backlash we saw with Vietnam. We're like, why are we getting involved in this stuff? This is a world away. This does not affect the U.S. And obviously, I think anybody who looks back on it, and I'm not trying to shit on the veterans or anything like that, because obviously, I told you my grandfather, he served in Korea. He was drafted into it. He didn't want to. But, regardless, it's like, I think it was, Afghanistan, Iraq, it's the same thing. Why should we be involved in these conflicts that are half a world away?
And realistically, ultimately, it goes back to why people voted for Trump. And one of his policies, or not policies, but promises, was no wars. Getting out of wars, leaving our country, worrying about our country, not worrying about other countries. And this is not what... Yeah. This is not first. Delivering on his promise, yeah.
No, it's well, we're not involved yet, but like we could be. We could be roped into it. Is what I'm saying.
The way that it's leading, it's definitely not sounding promising. Yeah.
We got an article here. Iran says it won't surrender in Israel conflict as Trump weighs U.S. involvement. On the 6th day of conflict, which I think this was. Oh no, this is from this morning actually. What you need to know: 6th day of conflict. Supreme leader from the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce these names, said in a national address that Iran will not surrender and warned that any U.S. military intervention would result in irreparable damage. Yesterday, U.S. President Donald Trump called the supreme leader an easy target and said that America's patience is wearing thin. He also demanded Iran's unconditional surrender. Trump weighs options. Trump is growing increasingly warm to using U.S. military assets to strike Iranian nuclear facilities and souring on the idea of a diplomatic solution to end the conflict. Two officials told CNN. The hawkish posture represents a shift in Trump's approach, though the sources said he remains open to a diplomatic solution if Iran makes concessions. On the ground, air defenses are repelling projectiles over Tehran after Israel's Air Force said it was carrying out strikes on the Iranian capital. Israelis were also warned about incoming Iranian missiles, and explosions were heard in Tel Aviv. So, I don't know. Like,
we're gonna see how this develops, because it has potential to become something that really just isn't what we as Americans, we as Donald Trump supporters, not necessarily me, but like anybody that is a Donald Trump supporter.
I'm a Donald Trump supporter. Yeah, and I obviously
this is not what you guys voted for sure.
I voted on obviously, get the immigration crisis under control and keep us out of wars. And
realistically, what we voted for was just American issues. Yeah, this is not an American issue.
No, I know, and I don't like this undying, like, we don't have an undying allegiance to Ukraine, and I don't think we should. I don't think it's our issue to get involved in. So Trump wants to make a peace deal there. So it's just so weird to see him flip on that in this particular instance and be like, hey, if it's Ukraine, hey, they're going to have to concede some territory to Russia. And that probably is what's going to end up happening, because I don't like the whole military conscription or anything like that. But with this, it's like we have the exact opposite approach. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't really understand it. But the Iranian state media Press TV said today that an Israeli strike has occurred near a Red Crescent facility in Tehran. Israeli strike reported near a Red Crescent facility in Tehran. Okay. Shortly before the strike was reported, the Israeli military said that its air force was striking military targets belonging to the Iranian regime in Tehran. Yes, this said the same thing 3 times. Holy crap. U.S. President Donald Trump's decision on whether or not to join Israel's attacks on Iran is beset with an unhelpful and contradictory set of facts. His own intelligence community has assessed Iran could be up to 3 years away from making a viable nuclear weapon, which we already went through those news clips before, and apparently Iran's been about 3 years away to 6 months away from doing this for the last 30 years. And that's all state propaganda too. That's literally what it is. You trust these people like Benjamin Netanyahu to go out there and give you the facts, and maybe that's a preemptive offense on his part. Maybe you're just talking, but
making up his own facts.
But you are definitely trying to justify bombing this country, and they don't have an Iron Dome. They don't. So there is nothing that's going to possibly protect them, and they don't have the backing of the U.S. military. Israel's claim, without providing evidence, that Tehran was engaged in a rush to a bomb with a much shorter time frame, both cannot be right. Israel has shown in the past 5 days it has a precise grasp of the Iranian security establishment's whereabouts and infrastructure, which it has exploited the lethal and brutal effect. But the United States intelligence gathering machine is unparalleled. And so Trump's decision will be swayed by conflicting information and rationale. Why strike a country that your own spies have evaluated even before this conflict as far from a nuclear bomb and likely is further away now? Why get dragged into a conflict with the singular aim of stopping something your intelligence community has assessed isn't about to happen? I don't know. This is a constant theme with us in the Middle East. Obviously, we went into Iraq saying, Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction. Obviously, now we know that was not true. That was a lie. And it was a great time to do it after 9/11 happened, and everybody kind of really rallied around being an American. I think that was the last time we really all kind of embraced that, because we were obviously attacked. And I have my own conspiracy theory about that, but I'm not going to dive into that.
That's a separate topic.
I don't want to dive into that. That's a
whole separate topic.
I could go for that for a while, but I'm not going to do that. I gotta restrain myself. Let's keep going. And so Trump's decision will be swayed by conflicting information and rationale. Why a straight country that your own... No, I already read that. Sorry. Joining the Israeli effort presents its own challenges. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu asserts Iran is secretly racing towards a viable device, which he's been saying that for 30 years. If that is the case, then Iran is engaged in a clandestine effort that most likely will not be upended by one singular definitive strike on the widely publicized mountain lair fortress enrichment plant of Fordow. It will involve multiple strikes on multiple hidden targets. The possible U.S. use of a bunker buster GPU-57 bomb on the Fordow nuclear site is also not guaranteed to penetrate the structure. Tests have suggested it might, according to a 2019 New York Times report, but Trump might be reluctant to get into another conflict on a maybe. I don't know what that means. I don't like any of this language. I really don't.
I think it's basically saying the maybe being they might have nuclear weapons. There's no definitive proof that they have any or will have some within the year. It's all just speculation at this point. Clearly, because Netanyahu's been saying it for 30 years, and we haven't been presented with any ironclad information to say otherwise. Like, all actual intelligence that are part of the government has said they're numerous years away still. So the claims that they're close is numerous years away does not sound close.
That's just me. I don't know. Honestly, I can't wait to move on from this topic. This honestly makes me a little nervous. I can't wait to go to... What do we got next?
Well, because what
Bonnie Blue. Bonnie Blue, where are you? A nightmare scenario for the U.S. president would involve joining an Israeli effort, destroying Fordow, and then discovering Iran's nuclear program somehow survives. If they even have one.
If they even have one, yeah. Keep going. I'll be right back.
All right. Iran's leadership could then take the headlong plunge in a nuclear weapon to maintain its survival. Israeli intelligence has proven remarkably accurate in the past 18 months, but as recently as October 23 failed to spot Hamas's unprecedented attack. Nothing is perfect, and that should haunt Trump's current thought process. And I agree with that. Listen, I'm not gonna. Obviously, I don't condone what happened on October 7th. I think that was a horrible attack on civilians. But what they're doing right now is no better. There is nothing like. Now you're attacking Iran for this preemptive offense, and I guess they could claim October 7th. I mean, their grievance, that was obviously a very terrible day. They took thousands of people hostage, innocent Israelis who didn't do anything. But this conflict goes back so much further than that. It's not like this is the start of,
like we talked about.
It's not the start of anything.
That claim has been going on for 30 years now about nuclear weapons. And that's even the 30 years, that's still like kind of new compared to the conflict that they've been going on for hundreds of years between Iran and Israel.
Well, you were out of the room, but I'll read this again real quick. Israeli intelligence has proven remarkably accurate in the past 18 months. But as recently as October 2023, the October 7th attacks, obviously, failed to spot Hamas's unprecedented attack. Well, then I would... then how remarkably accurate are you if you couldn't, spot that? I'm not defending Hamas here because I think what they did was terrible. And I do believe that Hamas is a terrorist organization. They should be rooted out if it's possible. But again, I go back to the whole thing. I don't believe bombing Gaza to just, hey, we can eliminate everybody. If this was
that's not the answer.
If this was on a global scale, we would have already rolled it back because we'd be like, this isn't, but because it's the Middle East, I guess it's okay to do. And because Israel is the only first world country over in the Middle East, so they say, I don't know. I don't know, man. I really, like I said, I don't want to get into the whole Israel, Palestine, and I don't like Israel though. I don't like the government of Israel.
Israel government.
The Israeli government, I do not like them at all. And I don't know, maybe they're not, maybe they're as corrupt as any other government. I'm sure if I knew all the government secrets of the U.S. too, I'd probably just kill myself. I mean, in all honesty,
their intelligence doesn't seem to be too intelligent, like we're proving, or not proving, but like we're stating based off of the facts that we've seen. Like if they were that intelligent, how were they not able to? Oh,
that's what it says right here. It's like, and that's a great fact. So listen, I hope this conflict. I don't like Trump's stance on this, and it's like I like Trump. I really do. I voted for Trump, but I don't like his stance on this.
We should not be getting involved in this war.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. I don't care what they say the benefits are or whatever. I'm sorry, we should not be offering the lives of U.S. citizens for somebody else's interests.
All right, so now we're gonna move on here from that, and if you're still with us, please like, share, subscribe, comment, yada yada yada. What do you think about should America get involved with Israel?
What's your stance?
I really don't think we should. That's my take.
Me either.
Other people might feel differently, and obviously, I think I did misspeak a little bit. I don't really mind the state of Israel. I do think their government is insanely corrupt. Whether it's, I don't know if it's more corrupt than any other government. I just think, I don't know. We're gonna move on to
very conspiracy or very controversial decisions in the last couple months for sure.
So we're going to move on here to talk about the LA protests, how they're kind of wrapping up, or it seems like they are. They had the No Kings Day. I guess that was very widely successful. A ton of people turned up for it, yada, yada, yada. I got this nice little thing of Gavin Newsom here. He's going to fix homelessness. I think actually homelessness in California has gotten a lot worse.
Yeah. Last I read, I think they still get 20, or at least last year, they got $25 million to help with homelessness, and yet somehow it got worse.
Well, yeah, most of those things don't actually go to help anybody, in all honesty.
There's currently an investigation as to where that money went, because clearly homelessness is not getting solved with all the funds that they are getting for it.
And now they're going to say this about, this is just a little update. The LA produce market in Los Angeles obviously sits empty after ICE raids across California. Gavin Newsom's world's fourth largest economy is propped up on illegal immigrant labor. So...
Not surprising.
Rotting fruit and vegetables scattered throughout this market. Store after store here closed for now.
Well, they say, I mean, and we don't know the exact numbers, but they say, an estimated 20 million to 30 million people are here illegally, and they think about, 2 million of them are in California at least.
Sounds pretty accurate.
I wish I had the graph it pulled up, because now they're saying that they want to return California to Mexico.
Yeah.
Mexico had, Was I think for 27 years Mexico did control California, but the United States has controlled it for about 174 years, something like that. And it's just like, if anyone else ever touched anything, any time in history ever, we don't have a right to it anymore, you know?
And technically, didn't Spain control most of the territories around there before Mexico?
Yeah, Spain did. Spain controlled that before it went to Mexico.
So are we supposed to give it back to Spain then?
No, of course not. No, it goes to Mexico. Spain controlled it, I think, for about 55 years. California or Mexico had it for about 27 years, and the United States has had it for about 150 years.
And I mean, of course, let's not forget the indigenous people. So technically, we should be giving it back to them because they had it for hundreds of years.
Technically,
but
yeah, of course.
I guess that's neither here nor there. Yeah.
Plenty to sell, but no one dare come here to buy these days. Immigrants usually fill this marketplace, but since ICE agents arrived in downtown LA, it's empty.
It just makes you think.
I mean, personally, I think I'm sure the ICE raids definitely have an impact with how many people they're taking and where they worked and what they did. But I pretty sure I know personally if I was in LA, last thing I'd be worried about is going to a food market during all this craziness because I've seen. Last thing I want is for my car, my property, myself, my family to get harmed or attacked or damaged. Just when I'm trying to go get groceries, like, nah, I'm good. I'll wait.
No, I was just thinking about this funny thing with it's like when Caesar conquered Gaul and Vercingetorix comes up, he's like, you can't take this land. He just, lol. It's like, I don't know. It's just there's like, no, if you can take it, you can take it, man. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I don't want to get into that, but it's like, I don't know. I can just see Vercingetorix getting up on his horse and be like, hey, listen, this isn't your land, Caesar.
I mean, this the type of stance that they're trying to use for Mexico. It's like, so what you're saying is Russia is entitled to Ukraine then?
Exactly. Yes.
Ukraine used to belong to them.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm so glad. Yeah, exactly.
If you're going to say that about Mexico, then you're saying that Russia deserves Ukraine. Which, to me, that's not a valid argument.
The former USSR has had that land for a lot longer than 27 years. So
that's an invalid argument.
But that's what I mean. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways, and yet you want to. It's like, it's so fucking weird. All right,
only a trickle of workers showing up.
People are ordering their groceries through online online apps like Instacart.
Oh wait,
people
where they don't have to go out into these protests and riots
to their home.
Business owners in the market bleeding money, watching their potential profits rot. They say profits have flatlined.
Dropped a good 50% of what it is normally here.
Obviously, people are scared, so therefore, people aren't coming into the market to purchase, to go out and sell, and people aren't coming in to sell either. So it's all the way around. It's going to affect business.
This marketplace sells produce not only to people but also to grocery stores and restaurants.
Well, I feel like a lot of businesses, if it continues like this, we'll probably see a lot of businesses shut down because of this. A lot of restaurants, a lot of business-owned restaurants are gonna.
They need to change the way that things are done. Things are changing.
Yeah.
They need to revamp things. They need to revamp their business models because clearly the old business models will not work anymore, based off of who we have there.
Well, even just the headline.
It's called adapting. It's called an innovation.
LA,
you have to change.
And for the viewers, you can't see this as clearly because me and Duke we're flanking it on both sides. But what it says here, immigration raids in SoCal, LA produce market empty after ICE raids. Well, why are they empty? Because of the ICE raids, okay. But if you go one step beyond that, then why are they empty? It's because
nobody wants to go there. It's not safe right now.
No, because there are illegals working there and they don't want to show up because they're afraid of the ICE raids. But so you're admitting then you're employing illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
That's
a labor issue.
The ICE raids continue to be ready for even bigger sticker shock when you go grocery shopping.
You want to deport everybody, then the cost of products are going to go up.
The few workers brave enough to show up here at the 7th Street Market tell me ICE has not raided this place, but it's the fear of a raid that is keeping people away, hurting business.
So ICE hasn't even raided this place yet, but it's a fear of it. Well, then they're
worried about it.
There has to be a high concentration of illegal immigrants, which we know, and
that's just, to me, a ton of them are there. Yeah.
It's Southern California, which I would believe, obviously that there probably are a lot of illegals in Southern California.
And the problem is the system has enabled this. system where companies can just employ illegal immigrants and cut their costs that way. And that's not fair to the economy of the US and to the citizens of the US who are looking for jobs, who can work for those companies, but the companies don't want to hire them because they want to pay for cheap labor. Last I checked, we tried not to do that with China. That's why we impose certain tariffs. That's why we don't want certain things being made in Pakistan and India and all that stuff, because we don't want cheap labor, which is against the law in America to have labor done that way. But yet we're supposed to
Well,
lead
not
a
only
blind
that,
eye to what is done with the food market in South California.
Not only that, it's not fair working conditions. I mean, we know for a fact that there are
100%.
there is, I mean, well, one, I don't know why everyone's so, riled up over reparations. That's a separate thing. But it's like, there's still slavery going on in a lot of countries to this very day. It's happening as I'm speaking right now.
There's children that are forced to work. For crying out loud.
I mean,
Like,
that
this-
wasn't even
no.
100 years ago. There were children forced to work. I mean, it wasn't that crazy of a thing. I don't think it was right. But obviously, America has come a long way. America, everyone's like, oh, it's just a slavery thing. No, well, I mean, that was bad too. Slavery is bad. Forcing children to work, I would say that's also bad. But it's like, we're just finally coming to a point, I think really in kind of like the last 60 so years or something like that, where we're actually kind of doing right humanitarian crap. But to act like it doesn't go on and to act like we don't benefit from it, but we don't see it. So if we don't see it, we're not really, we're kind of a blind eye to it. But when everything you get made in China, I have no idea how this was made. I just know it was made somewhere in China.
I see Arnold Schwarzenegger on your screen. I want to hear what he has to say.
Well, this is a picture of him, so you can't hear that.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I wanted to bring this up because Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously, he was the governor of California, so I feel like this is very relevant. And he obviously, I think he immigrated over from Austria back when he was, a young bodybuilder, when he was teens, his 20s maybe or something like that. Obviously, he's a big movie star. He's been in, what was that Christmas movie he was in?
I don't.
Jingle All the Way, right? Oh, yeah.
Jingle All the Way, yeah.
Turbo Man. Turbo. Obviously, he's been in a lot more things than that, but I like Turbo Man, Turbo Man. Sorry. Yeah. So let's see what this says here. For one, screw your freedom. Arnold Schwarzenegger got it exactly right. It started with a question about the LA riots, but what followed was not the response anyone expected. He demanded respect for America, and what happened next went beyond politics. And we're going to get into this because it's very fascinating, and he is on my favorite place, The View. I love The View. I mean, I like watching, Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg and Sonny Holston I gotta respect.
Let's hear what he has to say.
I respect the grift, but let's hear from Mr. Arnold. Get to the chopper.
So, if you are an immigrant, you're an immigrant in this country. Yeah. Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing, when you see the videos of it?
Well, I tell you, you said that
my men are irreplaceable. All right, I'm done.
The immigrant. I'm so proud and happy that I was embraced by the American people like that. I mean, imagine they came over here with the age of 21.
Oh, there we go.
With
21.
absolutely nothing. And then to create a career like that. I mean, in no other country in the world could you do that. Every single thing, if it's my bodybuilding career, if it's my acting career, becoming governor, the beautiful family that I've created, all of this is because of America.
That's true.
And so this is why I'm so happy to see firsthand that this is the greatest country in the world, and this is the land of opportunity.
I applaud that.
And I think because I'm such a proud American and a proud immigrant that came to America, I was asked to do, on July 4th, a big speech, the keynote speech at Mount Vernon, where George Washington was with the rest, and where he lived and all that, to celebrate the 250th anniversary of America, the existence of America. And I will be doing the speech there. They asked me because I'm an immigrant, and there will be 7,000 some people there, and there will be people that will be sworn in and will become citizens that day.
That's great.
So it's really a great celebration. And this is what this is all about, is to celebrate people becoming Americans and coming to America and all that. And so I just think the world of the great kind of history that we have with immigrants in America. But the key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal.
There we go. That's the crux of it. And I'm gonna guess the cackling hens here are not gonna like that too much, but I think, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously, you know, legal immigrant.
He's right on the nose, yeah.
He's been here, you know, all his life. Seems like a very patriotic guy, you know.
That is the
He's probably the last Republican governor California will ever see.
important thing, you know. So you got to do things legal, and those people that are doing illegal things in America and that are foreigners, they are not smart, because when you come to America, you're a guest, and you have to behave like a guest. Like when I go to someone's house and I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can to keep things clean and to make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing to do, rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that.
True.
So that doesn't really work in this country. So I think the important thing is, when you become an immigrant, to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has in education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things. Then you have to think about, okay, if I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something back. But you have a responsibility as an immigrant to give back to America and to pay back to America and to go and do something for your community for no money whatsoever. Give something back to after-school programs, Special Olympics, or whatever it is. Make this country a better place.
I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is honestly a great example of a legal immigrant who came here. I mean, obviously, Arnold Schwarzenegger is hugely successful. I mean,
he absolutely made the best of his opportunity. Yeah.
Oh,
Like you said, he's hit it right on the head. His life, what he's accomplished, what he's achieved, is due to America accepting him as an immigrant, because he did it the proper way. He did it the legal way, and he never had to fear about ICE coming after him because he did it the legal way. It's that simple.
He's got
to
a
do it the legal way.
he
You could
honestly,
have the best life in the world.
I don't know
in America.
I don't know that much about Schwarzenegger. I mean, other than his movies, obviously. I know he's a bodybuilder when he was younger, but like, you know, he's got a storybook life. And I know he somehow, as a Republican, he got elected as governor of California, which is insane, because I don't think that will ever happen. It will be the last Republican governor of California ever, until the San Diego fault line breaks off and California goes into the sea, and then we can get rid of it, and it'll be we'll have 49 states. We'll have 49 states until we get Canada. It'll be great. It'll be great. We won't lose anything from California. I always make that joke. I think once the huge fault line. You know what I'm talking about?
All right, let's keep moving. I'm running a little bit short on time. Sorry.
Okay, you're fine. It's gonna be good. Moving from one of the proudest Americans there is, we have Bonnie Blue, who I don't believe is American, but this is a question here, and we maybe if you don't remember, but it's been a while.
This is a tough one.
One of our earlier segments was about us debating about, could 100 could 100 men take on a gorilla, and I said 100 men could definitely take on a gorilla, and I think you said
I was on the gorilla side. Yep. We already hashed that out, but would you like to be the first one, or would you like to be the last one for Bonnie Blue? That's a hell of a question. I honestly don't know. Do you want to die fast, or do you want to die slow? Based off of what you get.
If you have to, I think I'd be the first one for the gorilla. I think so. That was not the way it was originally set up. Obviously, I didn't think it was going to be a line. Because if it was a line, I think you still take the gorilla out, because I think the gorilla would eventually get tired. But the last one in line for Bonnie Blue, it's like, what am I going to be looking at after that? It's like, that's going to...
Would you even feel it? Would you even notice if you're in?
Oh, I would notice. Yeah, I don't. I would. You would notice. You would definitely notice you were in as well. Because I mean, you'd have all fucking warts and
you notice afterwards. You would notice afterwards for sure.
You would definitely
get that test results back. Oh man, but yeah, yeah, no, I don't know. I think I'd rather take my chances.
I think I'd take the gorilla. In all honesty, it's like, this is like, Bonnie.
Dude, I wouldn't even want to be 50. I wouldn't want to be 10. I wouldn't even want to be 5. Like, ugh, that's fucking disgusting, man. Imagine being the 1,000th person to be in there in whatever time frame. Like, that's fucking disgusting.
Oh, it's within about, I think, 24 hours or maybe 12 hours, something like that.
Fucking disgusting, man.
I don't even.
Ugh.
There's like a whole sequence. They got like fluffers and stuff like that. So, obviously you got to go in there fucking rock solid, and it's just,
You get 10 seconds, 3 pumps, and then you're done. Next.
Yeah, it's like, and how many STDs do you get? I don't know. But really, when we're talking about this, is because Bonnie Blue here got banned off of OnlyFans. They said enough debauchery is too much here. This is obviously the young man who's going to try to break Bonnie Blue's record. Harry Sisson, we've talked about him before. He's our favorite Democratic shill. I don't know why I have Harry Sisson up here, but there was a hoe off apparently, and Sophie Rain over here, who has made millions upon millions upon millions of dollars from OnlyFans.
Good for her.
Got yeah, I guess so. Hey, good for her, I guess. But I mean, I guess there are levels to this, and it's like, now this hoe is saying that this hoe is just disgusting. I'm like, yeah, it's a prostitute. It's a prostitute off. They're fighting. Who? Like, obviously, I think Bonnie Blue is probably the bigger whore, but pretty much this is what started this whole thing off. That Bonnie Blue eventually got canceled. I found this thing. This is fake news. This is an edited photo.
Yeah, I don't believe it. Yeah.
But we're moving on here. Reveal the truth behind Bonnie Blue's permanent bans from OnlyFans, which is crazy to think. There are levels of degeneracy to this stuff.
Yeah, I'm surprised anyone can be banned off OnlyFans. Jeez.
There are things that are so disgusting and so vulgar that even OnlyFans is like, yo, you got to take a step back here. Like,
and just to be clear, I am not a member of OnlyFans. I do not have an account with OnlyFans. I do not watch anyone's material off.
I don't know why you would actually.
I use free websites on the internet. Porn is free.
Porn is free. Yeah, so you can always or prawn.
I don't pay for what I can get for free. No thank you.
But some people do, obviously. But apparently they said, Bonnie Blue is too disgusting for OnlyFans, which is wild. But let's get into the article. For the past week, Bonnie Blue has been hit with a ban from OnlyFans. The news first came in last week and was said to be in response to her latest gross viral challenge, which I would probably agree with that. I think she probably is like the grossest woman on the internet in terms of whoredom.
In a sexual stance, yeah.
Definitely.
Seems like she purposely goes for a certain niche, and more power to you if that's what you want to do, I guess. But yeah.
I mean, 1,000 guys in one day. It's like that's just like, geez. It's like
the hygiene in that is just ugh. There's no way you could do that and not.
Well, I'm gonna
not get dirty.
I don't know if you know him. How old do you think she is? How old do you think she is, Duke?
20 something, 24 maybe, 23.
I think she is. I think she's 25. She looks to me. She looks older. She looks like she's 40. I think it's really kind of taking its toll. But that's just my
makeup.
stand.
There's a lot of makeup on that face, that's for sure. So it's really hard to tell. And you could see some plastic surgery for sure.
Yeah, Bonnie announced she was going to be doing a petty zoo challenge. Which was definitely her most vile stunt yet. She was basically going to lock herself in a glass box and allow 2,000 men to do whatever they want to her. It was instantly met with backlash, and people spoke about the type of behaviors this sort of stunt encourages. Bonnie Blue then canceled the event following all the comments. Then her social media pages were removed. These have since been restored, but after her social media ban, Bonnie Blue was also handed in one from OnlyFans. So here's what we know about everything that's happened so far. Bonnie Blue was given a ban from OnlyFans after her latest 2,000-man stunt was deemed too far. She said that on June 15th, she'd be tied up in a glass box. For 24 hours, I'm all yours, tied up, gagged, bent over, begging, however you want.
Yeah. Basically, no limits.
You can have me.
I don't understand why 2,000 is
no
bad
limits.
and 1,000 isn't.
No breaks.
Yeah.
Just me.
I don't understand why there's this big of response to it, especially canceling her. Like, she didn't even do it. She was just a proposed event, and somehow she got banned. I don't get that.
Well, this is like this is like even beyond the porn industry. This is debauchery to such a crazy extent.
Oh yeah, that's why exactly. Like this is not about making a sexual desire for someone or porn. Like it's just, I'm bored. What should I do now? What haven't I done?
Well,
you know what? let's do this instead of 1,000. Let's do 2,000.
It's what's going to go viral, exactly. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly. It's seeking the next viral moment. That's clout chasing. In her world,
There was this. I don't know if you ever seen this show. It's called The Deuce. It was on HBO. It was by David Simon, George Pelikanakis, I think, or whatever. It was about prostitution, essentially, in New York in the 1970s. And, you know, the ramifications of that lifestyle eventually catching up with you. But, you know, and a lot of those women, they didn't come out of it too well. But I always used to think, I'm like, do you not think there's going to be negative ramifications of being in the porn industry? I would imagine there's always going to be that.
Oh, yeah.
But let's keep going here. For 24, I said that already. I don't want to say that again because I'll get clipped out of context. And
honestly, there's
I'm gonna be on a
realistically, I don't know what else needs to be said about this topic. I don't understand. Personally, I don't understand why she got banned for it all. Because it's all just words at this point. She didn't actually do it yet. I don't know. I mean, do I agree with what she's doing? No. I don't think it should happen. I don't think she should be doing it. But for her to get banned for it, I don't know. I think that's a little talking about preemptive. Like, she didn't do it.
No, I mean, if you want
to talk about it, she canceled it.
We're gonna get into the debauchery here in a second. But the event was canceled before it took place. But OnlyFans still took her account down. The reason behind this was because her stunt was viewed as extreme and it crossed a line. And you know, she did 1,000 men in one day. So I don't know. I guess 2,000.
Yeah. Why was that not extreme and crossing line? But okay.
11,149 is okay, but if you hit the 50 mark, that's you've taken too many dicks.
That's an interesting line to draw right there. 1,000 is okay, but not 2,000.
1,000 is okay. 2,000 is too many, even for OnlyFans.
Yeah, that's where you draw the line.
In OnlyFans,
know, I guess.
An OnlyFans spokesperson said, "Extreme challenge content is not available on OnlyFans and is not permitted under our acceptable use policy in terms of service. Any breach of our terms, service results in content or account deactivation."
So they view it as extreme challenge, which I get that.
I would say that's
Yeah. But again, I don't understand why she got banned. Wouldn't they send her a letter like, if you do this, you're gonna get banned. Don't do it, because she didn't do it. So why? I don't understand. I think the ban should be lifted. Like I said, I don't agree with anything that even the 1,000 men. I don't agree with it, but I don't think she should be banned. She didn't do it. She was thinking about doing it. She was planning on doing it, but then she chose not to.
I mean, you can get banned off anything if they deem you're. I don't. You know, I guess they said this is too vulgar. Since OnlyFans has confirmed the ban is forever, a source said the ban is permanent. Any breach of our terms of service results in content or account deactivation. This is why it has been necessary to take this action. We always act when users breach our terms of service. A source told The Sun, Bonnie is taking things way too far. She's making tens of thousands of dollars, I guess, a month via OnlyFans, and now that's gone. Her page has officially been pulled. Her latest stunts have taken things too far. She's crossed the line, and OnlyFans has no choice but to act. Bonnie Blue is set to lose $600,000 a month.
Yeah. Just letting you know, I got a 5-minute warning. I got to get going in 5 minutes.
Okay. We might not be able to get on to our last topic then, but that's okay. I mean, I can always wrap it up myself, too.
But yeah, of course.
Bonnie is said to lose around $600K a month in earnings. And it's like, listen, Bonnie Blue's a disgusting person. I'm just going to float it out there. But is it her fault? Is it her fault? Because it's like, you're promoting $600,000 a month. What could I possibly do to make $600,000 a month?
It's crazy.
A Ponzi scheme, maybe.
This is the nasty stuff she does, and yet she was making $600,000 a month from doing the nasty shit. So clearly, people wanted to watch it. Which, again, I am not in support of whatsoever. But the fact that she was making that much money from doing this type of shit—that's fucking disgusting. That's, I mean, and if you scroll up, it's no longer woman empowerment; it's a clown show. Since when was this fucking woman?
Well, that's a quote.
Fucking 1,000 men. Like
that's a quote from Sophie Rain, who was the other top whore on OnlyFans. So it's like a whore off.
That's a very big topic, exactly. Like these women are delusional, thinking that what they do is good for women. Like, no,
the only way,
not at all.
We have 100 years of feminism behind us right now, since women got the vote in 1919, 100 years. And the only way a woman can really succeed and be super successful is if they whore themselves out and they show their holes on OnlyFans. I don't know if that's the female empowerment the suffragettes were fighting for, but I mean, I guess that is where it's gonna come back to. So,
disgusting.
Since the news of her ban, loads of other OnlyFans creators have slammed Bonnie Blue. In a statement sent to the tab, Sophie Rain, who was another e-whore, said Bonnie was turning OnlyFans into a clown show. Yeah, because I guess you weren't doing that, sweetie.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's no longer women empowerment. It's a shock value. She's making a joke out of all of us. I mean, I think if you sign up for
Women.
OnlyFans, you're doing that.
Power. Women. Power. Totally. Yeah. I mean, the whole OnlyFans movement, that's not women empowerment. Just because you're making money, how you're making money is really important. It really shows a lot about your character. So don't call yourself empowering women when you're making money by showing your butthole. It's not women empowerment.
Well,
I would never want my daughter to follow in your footsteps.
She's going to go on to say here, we built this space to take control of our bodies and make money on our terms, not to fake pregnancies, marriages, throw cake at people in public.
Absolutely garbage.
Brands don't take us seriously anymore. Media doesn't. Nobody took you seriously.
Who took you? Yeah,
nobody took you seriously. Like,
people don't watch you because they take you seriously. Get a reality. Like, that's nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
People, I mean, honestly,
like I said, I would never want my daughter to ever follow in your guys' footsteps. I don't care if she'd be a millionaire. No,
exactly. Because
I would never.
Yeah, you lose your self-respect. That's got to be worth something.
I would want my daughter to have more respect for herself than that. Even it's not even about me. I would want my daughter to have more self-respect for herself.
You would hope so, but I guarantee you. I mean, Sophie Rain here. Well,
obviously, they're not going to have self-respect. They're delusional. They think they're doing something for women, for women's empowerment. If that's what they truly think. There's no hope. No hope whatsoever. But I'm going to have to get going. I'll let you finish up. Make sure to like and share. Subscribe everything we've been talking about today. I'm sorry I have to cut out.
No, that's all right.
I am a father and I have responsibilities with my son, so I got to get going.
We started late and that was my fault. Yeah. My computer crashed, like I said. So I will finish this up. It's going to be the Dutch show now. It's now the Dutch show. All right, let's go.
For the last segment, yep. Have a good day, everyone. Catch you on the next one.
So we'll move on from here. Brands don't take us seriously anymore. Media doesn't take us seriously. I'm tired of having explained that not all of us are doing circus acts for clicks. I would really like to know who is running her clown show. I mean, no, if you're going to go on OnlyFans, man, you're a fucking clown show. In a further interview, adult entertainer Abla Danger also likened what Bonnie Blue does to a circus act. Which, listen.
Derek!
I think if you're going to do...
you want lunch? I'm sorry. I took so long, but we can go get it now. We got to go now, though.
All right, well, Dukes is signing off still. I'm sorry about that. That is on his. It's actually on me. I had all my segments pulled up for this, and my computer crashed because I lost power, which does happen sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about this ultimate whore off here? It's like, listen, I think Bonnie Blue's disgusting. I don't think Sophie Rain is much better. I know she's not doing like viral stunts, 1,000 men a day, but it's like, I don't know. Kind of gross. Anyway, I'm going to move on to my last thing, and it's probably good Duke's not here for it because this is like my own personal kind of hating thing. Talk about Meghan Markle, who I think is one of the most disingenuous, one of the most easily hateable people on the planet. Maybe that's just my personal experience or whatever, but this woman lays at a whole field of destruction and chaos pretty much everywhere she goes. There was this whole thing about, the Sussexes. They were going to Disneyland. And they're doing this thing, the half in, the half out. They can't show their kids' faces or whatever. You can clearly see the kids or whatnot. Not that I really care, but it's, I guess I kind of do actually. It's the whole, we want privacy. But they have no problem with throwing their kids out there to gain them social media fame, clout, anything like that. I don't know. I find Meghan Markle to be everything she does, she touches, it turns to crap. Incredibly unlikable. I can't play this, obviously. This should be a nice moment. They're going places with their kids. They're doing stuff at Disney World, I think, or Disneyland, California distinction. And I don't know. It should be nice, but it's just... There's something just so disingenuous about this person. And it covers my feed all the time. And I guess I'm a little involved in it because I do dislike Meghan Markle very much. We're gonna link Lauren here, who I think he's been on Piers Morgan before. He seems like a pretty rational dude. He's gonna talk about Meghan Markle and the whole merchandising of her kids, or the half in, half out, which is kind of just her brand. Let's see what Link has to say.
Meghan Markle's Father's Day post. Now, Meghan Markle.
Her Father's Day post. I haven't seen this clip before, but I like Link Lauren, so I trust the guy. And I think what's going to happen here is he's going to mention that the Father's Day thing, she hasn't talked to her own father in 7 years. Her husband, Prince Harry, never met her father, never met the grandkids, anything like that. After he's done everything for this woman to get to where she is, to pay for this, pay for that, and she treats her father like absolute garbage.
Markle, who said she wanted privacy, allegedly. They wanted privacy. We're moving away from the UK. We want privacy. We want privacy. Well, apparently they didn't. They also were going to shelter their kids, and then that did not happen either because they put out this bizarre video. This bizarre video on Father's Day with music over it. It's on Meghan Markle's Instagram. It's all over the internet. And they're really showing off the kids, Archie and Lilibet. And one thing I will say is I thought we weren't going to see Archie and Lilibet. But a theme we've been following is that as Meghan Markle and Prince Harry become more desperate for fame, attention, notoriety, they're going to have to start hawking the kids, right? They're going to start using the kids more and more for fame and attention.
And listen, I've said this before. Listen, I know a lot of, I don't even know if a lot of British people, but I see this from a lot of people who are apparently over in the UK. I don't think anybody would have had a problem with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry saying, listen, hey, the monarchy, it's not really for us. We kind of want to take a step back from it. We want to go away. We want to live our own lives. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the way they went about it, like they're trashing their family, trashing, the late Queen, trashing Prince Philip, trashing, King Charles, William, Catherine, all that stuff. That's the problem that most people have. I don't think nobody cares. You want to step back from the monarchy. This isn't for us. I guarantee you, it's got to be a weird acquired taste. I guess you're born into, you don't really know, but it's definitely not for everybody. It's not. Nobody would have a problem with them stepping away. It's the way they stepped away and how they went about trashing their family to the point now where Meghan doesn't talk to her own family, but Harry won't talk to his father or his brother either because they can't trust him. It's a risk. They're going to have, there'll be a new Netflix documentary exposing secrets. Or what do we talk about? It'll all be recorded. That's got to be a really strange way to live.
Because her cachet and clout is so down, right? Meghan Markle, everything she touches turns to crap. She's not restocking the brand until 2026.
I swear I didn't watch this clip before, I swear.
Which tells me there's not much demand. So what does she have to do? She posts videos of the kids with Prince Harry and running around and all of these Father's Day pictures and videos because she knows she needs likes, she needs press, she needs People magazine to say she's Mother of the Year and she's incredible, even though she has a full staff of nannies and help. I think all the parents out there wish they had a full-time staff in their mansion in Montecito. It's easy.
It's got to be a strange way to live too, right? Your entire persona is literally just... How much clicks will this give me? How many likes can I get from this? I mean, it's honestly, it's kind of pathetic. As Piers Morgan would say, it's pathetic.
Easy to be father
I
of the
can't do
year
a British
and mother
accent.
of the year when you have so much help and assistance. And let's talk about the fact that she travels without the kids often. So what's funny to me is that People magazine actually said this was rare footage, and everybody online in the royal community was discussing this, right? They said this is rare footage. Oh my God, rare pictures of the kids. It's not rare anymore. Okay, it's not rare because it seems like every week now, even more than the Kardashians, Meghan Markle is showing off the kids, and I've had it. Okay. If you're gonna whore.
And can you imagine that too? I'm gonna go back here a little bit because I want to hear what he has to say. But can you imagine that? I mean, you're going from being one of the most influential people in the world. You're part of one of the oldest, prestigious, the British monarchy. And now you're being compared just 6-7 years later to Kim Kardashian. That is a wild downturn.
Okay. If you're gonna whore your kids out, Meghan Markle, just do it. Do a reality show about, raising royal, raising the ex-royals,
That is probably to come.
raising the knockoff royals. Do a TLC show like 19 Kids and Counting. Do freaking Kate plus 8, Kate Gosselin. Go do a reality show and really cash out Meghan Markle because then maybe you will go away. Maybe you will leave us alone and ride off into...
No, she's never going to go away. That'll never happen. Meghan Markle is so vapid and so desperate for attention, she will never, ever leave anybody alone. He's got to buy those headlines.
The sunset with
Gotta
your
get the
beloved
puff
Prince
pieces.
Harry until you leave him for a much wealthier man, because we know that is what you would rather do
Yep.
every single day of the
100%.
week. So I don't know why they keep saying this is rare footage when she consistently posts pictures of the kids after saying she wanted them to have privacy. So something is not adding up, Meghan Markle. And we are on to, I think there's also a component of this that a lot of people have missed. I think it's very interesting. Of course, it's Father's Day, but she didn't have to post so many pictures and videos for Father's Day, right? This was a deliberate choice. This was a highly edited video that she had her team put together. I think she's in competition with William, Kate, and the kids over in the UK.
I think so too. I think she is. She's honestly always competing against Catherine and William. And I honestly, I think it's pathetic. You know, it really is. So we're gonna move on from that. We now have this. Meghan Markle opens up about her viral baby mama dance. It's a fun life had behind the scenes exclusive. Now, there's a whole conspiracy theory here as well, and I don't know. I'm not a woman, so I don't want to get into it too much. I don't know what a pregnancy bump. Obviously, you know, I've had a child. I didn't carry the child. You know, it might be controversial to say at this point. A lot of people say this is fake. I have really no weigh in about that. I have no idea if it's fake or not. But I mean, this was just gaudy. It was tacky. She's twerking for the cameras and all this shit. It's just kind of gross, you know. And then she goes on this the Emma Greed's podcast. She wants to talk about it. It's just like, I don't know. This woman is so, I don't know. It's like she's wearing a mask the entire time, I would say. I don't know. There's nothing there, and I hate to say it, but she's so easily hateable.
If you could rewrite your public narrative from scratch, is there anything that you would do differently? Yes, I would ask people to tell the truth.
Oh my God!
If you
see little clips like that, it's like this woman is just I don't know why. It's like she's the most easily hateable person. I feel like she's wearing a mask at all times, and there's just nothing of substance there. I think South Park really did it correctly with the Worldwide Privacy Tour episode. There's nothing to this person. And honestly, you know, I hate to say it, but she's kind of fun to hate. It's so easy. This is another clip from the same podcast, and I'm going to move on from it. Like I said, I like to do a little bit of the royal thing, but I don't want to get into it too much.
Or starting there. On my mom's side, he used to have an antique store. That seemed like the natural inclination, but that's not what I was.
She's right now explaining about how entrepreneurship has always been in her family, which I don't believe it has. Obviously, Meghan was not an entrepreneur before she met Harry. She kind of latched onto people for this and that. I mean, you know, her previous boyfriend, or maybe it was her husband, I'm unsure. Big thing with the cooking. Oh, now I'm a cook. That's why I'm going to make the tig, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, okay. But really, you know, all you're doing is stealing recipes off of your, you know, very successful chef boyfriend. And it's just, she's so inauthentic. It's like, I can't imagine having, like, no personality at all. I really can't. You know, I got my, like, nerdy things I like. I got, like, my historical things I like. I got the shows I like. Maybe it's not, like, super original. You know, maybe it's not that. But I feel like I have something. I'm not just, like, click-clacking along, following what's the current trend today? I kind of feel bad for her in a way. I really do.
Was sitting around, as you know, and building brands. It doesn't happen overnight. It can't happen from the CPG side and really not on the commerce side. These are relations to a level where you can share it more broadly and happen in real time. You know, I set my alarm for the exact moment we were going to go live, inventory. And that's what we've been doing. We went right back trajectory to look like. But I think, you know, and at a certain point you go, why do I said in the podcast I was doing, laser focused on Harry?
I don't really know what it is with the nose touch here. I'm actually going to try to find a better clip from this really fast here. Sorry about that. Listen, I think Meghan... Oh, hey. It is just... Look, it is just my timeline. I pull up a new tab on Twitter, and all of a sudden, it's just... Oh, Meghan Markle. It is just my timeline, I think. It really is. It's all right. I love being on the Meghan Markle hate train a little bit. I really do. Yeah, I don't really care about the nose touch or anything like that. I really kind of... Miss dislike of the year, which, wow. 71% dislikes. I know they say that's not always entirely accurate, but 53% dislikes. Meghan Markle twerking. People just don't like Meghan Markle. She's just, again, I'm going to say this over and over again. She's a very inauthentic person. It's almost like you're watching an alien and she doesn't understand how to be a real person.
It's one of those things where there must be a part of... Well, it's a gift and a curse, right? It's one of those things where there must be a part of you that's like, great, there's an interest in what I'm doing, but there's also just such scrutiny in what you're doing.
There's a...
I don't think she's doing anything, personally. What's she doing? She's not doing anything. What she did America Riviera Orchard, the jam that sold out in like, an hour or something like that. She probably sold 10 bottles of it and that was it. And that's the end of that entrepreneurial, decision.
You just don't get to build in quiet.
Well, it's a gift and a curse, right? It's one of those things where there must be a part of you that's like, great, there's an interest in what I'm doing, but there's also just such scrutiny in what you're doing.
There's a lot of focus on every detail and
You're not doing anything.
every moment of quiet.
Do you every single moment quiet,
Everything
quiet, and everything
it really
between.
does, it really runs the gamut, but at the same time, what a blessing that it creates and generates so much buzz and so much interest. But I'm still never willing to sacrifice or compromise on the quality and to take my time. Someone else's urgency is not my urgency.
Damn right.
Meghan Markle, I mean, she has this incredible gift. She really does. That she can say a bunch of words, and yet at the end of any clip, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little dense. I'm a little dumb. And that could be. But I have no idea. I never listen to this woman. I have no idea what she's ever saying. But I got to move on from that. Duke didn't really want to do that segment. I'm all right with it. He kind of jumped out of it. He's not a hater of the Royals as much as I am. Or I'm not a hater of the Royals, actually. I don't really care about Harry at all. But I mean, I don't care about the monarchy specifically. I'm not British, obviously. I'm American. But, well, there we go. But Meghan Markle, she's such a vapid. There's just nothing there. If I could play it, I would. The whole South Park thing where they open the fucking lid of her mouth up and there's just like, it's hello, hello. It just echoes. There's nothing there. It's got to be such a crazy, exhausting way to live. It really does. Well, anyway, this is a picture of Hawaii. We normally try to. I like to wrap up on nice pictures, stuff like that. But I guess that will be it for the duration of the Duke and Dutch show. Obviously, minus Duke, because Duke had to take off, but that's all right. You're a single parent. I had a whole single parent thing planned too, but anyway, you're a single parent. Obviously, sometimes you got responsibilities that are going to take precedence over, obviously doing the show. So we will welcome Duke back, obviously, on Friday. Hope we'll have a more cohesive show. I hope my computer won't crash. And like I said, I'm happy to be back. So for everybody still tuned in, thank you very much. From the Duke and Dutch show, Duke was over there. He's gone now, but he'll be back on Friday. And we're back to our regular format again because I'm back from Florida, obviously. So I guess I'm going to sign us out, and thank you for tuning in. I got to say, like, share, subscribe, comment, yada, yada, yada. That's in my contract. I'm obligated to do it, folks. So, thank you for listening to our topics, our ramblings, and we will catch you in the next one. Later.